Going the distance for local sports. This is X Sports Today.
For the best meal from south of the border, head to Cocina Real in Puente Grande for lunch and dinner. With a wide array of mouth-watering entrees, there's something for everyone on the menu. And you can't forget the cheese dip. They'll treat you like family, and you'll never leave hungry. Make Cocina Real Mexican Restaurant and Puente Grande Mexican Restaurant your choice for authentic cuisine, located in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee.
The Raptor Series from Hustler Turf. A premium line of residential mowers designed with a wide stance for operator comfort. A one-piece 11-gauge steel frame and welded steel deck for added durability. Finished off with premium Kawasaki V-twin power. We are Hustler Turf, and this is Hustler Country.
Hey Lawrenceburg, looking for something new? Come to Happy G's, located at 210 East Gaines Street. We have pitching machines, batting cages, and even indoor golf. Powered by TrackMan, our system is perfect for practice or play. With over 300 courses as well as multiple mini games, it is perfect for all ages and abilities. We even offer packages for group events such as birthday parties and business lunches. So let's go! Come get your game on indoors at Happy G's.
Mac Brown has been providing photographic services for 55 years. During that time, Mac Brown photographers have photographed children, seniors, weddings, schools, musicians, and commercial businesses. The studio takes great pride in producing quality photographs and services for its many clients. While the studio has adapted as times have changed, their goal of providing excellent photography has remained constant. For more information or to schedule an appointment, visit their website at macbrownphoto.com or give them a call at 931-762-4263. Let the professionals at Mac Brown Photography turn your memories into treasures.
State Line Garage Doors, owned and operated by Justin Gobble, is your trusted local expert in garage door services. Based in Lawrence County, Tennessee, State Line Garage Doors is built on over a decade of hands-on experience, providing reliable repairs, replacements, and installations for all types of garage doors, residential and commercial. They proudly serve our community and the surrounding areas. When you work with State Line Garage Doors, you're not just another job, you're part of our community. Their commitment to quality, transparency, and craftsmanship is at the heart of what they do, and they offer free estimates. State Line Garage Doors. Reach out to discover the difference a company with local roots can make for your home and business.
A&M Medical is Lawrence County's newest medical clinic, specializing in urgent and primary care. Practitioners Andrea Bain and Meredith Hutton bring years of experience and compassion to keep you and your family healthy. A&M Medical features a separate well waiting room to meet your needs. Visit today and ask about A&M's weight loss program and telemedicine services. That's A&M Medical, located at 2367 Highway 43 South in Leoma, Tennessee.
Going the distance for local sports. This is X Sports Today.
Welcome everybody here to X Sports Today. AJ Good joined by Taylor Plott, Hayden Burks, and Michael Marks. And Taylor just let it's all that seeding going on up there. You guys are controlling the weather, the chemtrails and everything. And the next thing you know, it just dumped right on Lawrenceburg right now.
It just happened to pop up right on top of us. The downside is it just was on top of my house. I need a little more rain. A little more rain this week, and I won't have to water it.
Yeah, it's fun trying to run into work today out of the car. My distance is not really far, but it was fun to go to work. But we've got some interesting things going on a Friday. All right, Monday. It's one of my favorite events of every All-Star game. It's one of my favorite events of the year. I look forward to it. The Home Run Derby coming up on Monday. Our field is set as Brent Rooker from the A's and Jazz Chisholm from the Yankees will be joining Ronald Acuna Jr., Minnesota's Byron Buxton, Tampa Bay's Junior Caminero, Pittsburgh's O'Neill Cruz, Seattle's Cal Raleigh, and Washington's James Woods. The Home Run Derby from Atlanta on Monday. Hopefully, Acuna's a pretty big name. Cal Raleigh certainly turning into a big name, but the rest of these guys, not your big household names, but they put up great numbers this year, don't get me wrong, but they might be the future of the game just right now. They're just, okay, we know who they are, but we really don't know who they are.
Yeah. Over the season, I've become a big fan of James Wood from the Nationals. 24 home runs already, and he big guy. He's like a 6'7", 6'8" outfielder, huge swing. So I'm pulling for him personally. But you got Cal Raleigh, the major league leader in home runs. You got Ronald Acuna playing at his home stadium, and then a couple of other guys who you might not think of as being big superstars. But Byron Buxton's got a big bat. O'Neill Cruz, he has the hardest hit exit velocity of all time. It was like 124 miles an hour. Yeah. So you got a bunch of big bats in this.
You do, and the venue that you're at with SunTrust Park is given. Obviously, how the wind and the weather looks on Monday, that ball can fly out of that park relatively well. So I would anticipate that, for each round, if you will, I wouldn't be shocked if some end up getting, 15, 16, 17, up to 20 home runs or something in like one single round, just depending on how all the weather aspect is. But I'm really looking forward to see Ronald Acuna. He's been in a home run derby before, but this is the first time that he will have the opportunity to have it in his own ballpark. And I would love to be able to see him, perform very well. I really do think, I think the odds came out where Raleigh was plus 300, and I think Acuna was plus 400. I really do think that it's probably going to come down to those two because obviously, Cal Raleigh has had the majority of the season so far to do what he's doing. Acuna was out for like the first month, but I think both are probably going to end up being the favorites for.
Yeah, absolutely. I think those are 1 and 2. Obviously, Cal Raleigh, probably the best hitter in the game right now. Ronald Acuna, ever since coming back from injury, it's been really the only bat the Braves have had. Like you said, I think that maybe, in my opinion, I would say Acuna is my favorite. Home ballpark, obviously that's really the only reason I pick him, but still, between those two guys, they're 1 and 2 in my opinion.
Yeah, and like what Michael was saying with some of these young guys coming up, there's some that are like really, really good. And who is it that has the exit velo?
O'Neill Cruz from the Pirates, and Caminero's got some crazy stats too for a young guy, and Byron Buxton's hit a ball almost 480 feet this year. So you're really, you could pull a name out of a hat. That's your best bet.
You could, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing those guys perform. And who knows, one of those they could just completely take it, all the way and destroy the competition. Yeah.
But I'd look for a smaller guy to win it. I remember in 2021, I believe it was, when they put Shohei Ohtani in it in Colorado, and after about 10 swings, he was, huffing and puffing. So I get Atlanta's. You're not going to have any of that. Oxygen level problems with the elevation, but I would pick a younger guy, or not necessarily a younger, but a smaller guy. Not having to put as much force into it. Maybe Ronald Acuna, Byron Buxton. Yeah. Not these 6'7" guys like O'Neill Cruz and James Wood.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to benefit right-handed hitters. I think it's a little bit harder to hit it to right field than what it is to left field. So we'll and plus, especially because you got that big wall in right, right down the right field line, so you can't exactly hit a line drive over that.
Yeah.
So it definitely benefits if you're a right-handed hitter hitting it to left field.
It does, and again, we'll go back to the weather aspect. I'm the weather guy and everything like that, but seriously,
it matters in this competition.
It matters in this competition, and the way that SunTrust Park is oriented, for those who haven't been there, the outfield is facing, or the home plate going to the outfield, you're facing the south. So if you end up getting a south wind like you usually do during the summertime, it's got to go through some buildings, but it's coming in at that aspect. So given how things could pan out, if for some reason you end up getting more of a westerly to northwesterly wind, that's going to be blowing that ball out towards that outfield and out towards left field. So weather is going to be a huge factor with where that wind is going. If it's even a factor at all, could just be calm. If it's calm, that ball's probably going to fly out of that ballpark no matter what.
Yeah. It's going to be very fun on Monday. Some other baseball notes. P. Crow Armstrong has now 25 home runs, 25 stolen bases, has done it in the 4th fewest games in Major League history, so that's incredible. Brian Wu just retired 20 straight for losing his no-hit bid in the 8th yesterday. Nick Lodolo, now 4th scoreless start this year, 6+ innings or more, so pretty good for him. Cody Bellinger comes the first Yankee with two 15-hit win streaks. 15 game hit streak.
Yes. It's Friday.
I'm okay, people. I promise you, since Jeter did it in 12, and we're not going to mention the walk-off home run by the Athletics yesterday that traveled 445 feet.
At least we got 4 runs. That's all I'm That's what I was telling Michael.
And they needed a walk-off.
Yeah.
They needed a walk-off to beat you. So that going down. In the NBA, the Pelicans signed forward Herb Jones to a 3-year, $68 million contract extension. Sources tell ESPN he now has a total of 5 years and $97 million on his Pelicans deal with a new player option. 29 and 30, the 26-year-old, a former second-round pick. The 2021 NBA draft was named to the All-Defensive Team 2 years ago. He's one of 8 players with 350 steals, 150 blocks since he entered the league. And top 10 in most defensive statistics.
I mean, I remember watching him in Alabama and thinking, he's the SEC Player of the Year this year, but his game will never translate to the NBA, and he's a second-round pick, but, man, he has made the most of it. He's a very valuable piece for that Pelicans offense and defense, obviously, with him being on the all defensive teams. But, a good signing for them, and definitely a guy you want to keep around when you're trying to kind of move some pieces around and try to reshape the team. He's definitely a guy you want.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at the overall aspect of the Pelicans, like it's really a franchise that really doesn't know what they're doing, honestly. Zion Williamson, very injury prone. Not sure if you're going to have him, and really the only consistent guy that you have on the basketball court is Herb Jones. And like you said, you've seen him in Alabama, how he did there. Probably one, in my opinion, the top 15 defender in the league. In my opinion, offensively, he's starting to figure it out offensively. So maybe he can become a number 1 or number 2 on that Pelicans team, and probably a good thing for him is maybe to get out of New Orleans, like take that player option, hopefully, and then try to get out of there or something like that. So we'll see.
I will always have the utmost. I don't even know what word to use because it's from a Bama fan standpoint. He has meant everything to Alabama, especially in the years that he played under Nate Oates. And I tell you what, he doesn't give up. He's a fighter. Yes, definitely going into the NBA, you felt like I was questioning the same thing like you were, Michael. Can he actually translate his style of play and his abilities into the NBA? And that was a question mark. But the one thing that you just keep having with him is don't ever underestimate him. Right. Because when he started out at Alabama, he seemed like he had good potential, but then he wasn't really coming to that potential. And then all of a sudden you look at his junior and senior years and it was like, holy cow, now he's exceeded that ability that you thought he might have. And I think that this is great for New Orleans, but I'm also on the mindset with Hayden here where not really the franchise that you want to be a part of, unfortunately, but maybe he can go somewhere else, and I really think that he will continue to grow in his game because, again, I go back to don't ever underestimate him. He can adjust. He's very tall. He's very athletic. He can do things. He can make changes to his game.
Well, that's one thing that I honestly think of when we saw it last year's draft class with some guys like, those guys that are juniors and seniors and really good SEC players or just overall juniors and seniors in college. Yeah. They translate better than the young guys do from the beginning. Yeah. Like, those are the guys that can win now. Like, Dalton Connect. I'll say this, I'll argue this point with anybody. He shouldn't have fell down to 17.
Yeah.
Number 12, Oklahoma City needed a shooter, and they took Nikola Topic, who was hurt this whole year for Oklahoma City.
And imagine how good they would have been with Konechny.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, he's a shooter, and that's what they needed. So I will argue that point till the day I die that he should have been number 12. But I mean, you just got to look at those older guys. Like they can adjust, like you said, they can adjust better than the younger guys can, in my opinion. And we're seeing it these past few years.
Yeah. One of the things I feel like Herb needed to do, going back to kind of his college days, it almost early on, it felt like he needed to grow into his body. It was almost like he wasn't able to adjust his game to the fact that he was, I think, what is he, 6'10" or something like that?
6'9",
6'8". I mean, he's got long arms, and it just felt like he just couldn't really grow into his body. And then once he did, and he found that his game, and I mean, he literally turned into a completely different player his junior and senior year, and I'm just so happy that it's translated into the NBA. And I do hope, obviously, if New Orleans can find out what the heck they're doing and get better, or I would honestly love to see him maybe get picked up by the Charlotte Hornets and see how he can do kind of a reunion there with Brandon Miller. And I don't think. Did he play with Colin Sexton? I don't.
Yes, he played with
Colin Sexton. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Brandon Miller, some college basketball news. Former Alabama player Darius Miles is scheduled to stand trial for capital murder beginning December 1st in the Alabama Circuit Court, more than 2 years after he was arrested in connection with a fatal shooting in Tuscaloosa. Miles, 23, was accused of aiding and abetting co-defendant Michael Davis. He was found guilty of capital murder. Davis was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. It's a process of appealing the verdict. That is the infamous Brandon Miller case. Miller did testify in the Davis case. More than likely looks like he's going to testify in the Miles case as well. So starting to get some, even though remember how big of a deal that was.
It was
Alabama was, I don't know if they were still the number one team in the country, but they were a top 2 or 3 team in the country at that point. So that was very big news when that came out and kind of shook everything up that year. You know, everybody was kind of more so than usual, kind of against Alabama because Brandon Miller didn't sit out a game. There was a bunch of people mad about that, but finally, kind of getting to a close of this. Kind of trying to put it behind all these guys. Miller's now about to enter his second year in the NBA. So,
I was working down in Tuscaloosa at WVUA, my last job in the media field, and I got to kind of get to know some things that happened on in the background. I can't go into all big details with it, but I was aware of some things that players knew, that some other people knew about how everything went down that night. And it was just unfortunate that Brandon Miller was just wrong place, wrong time. That was literally everything that I heard through people was just a horrible situation that just got even worse. So I feel for Brandon Miller. Obviously, I hope that there's justice that does need to be served for the lady that lost her life that night. And knowing some of the things about Darius Miles, he's not the best of people. Right. Let's just put it at that. And that's some of the other stuff that I learned on the back end there that is just wasn't one to really hang out with. And
the more time goes on, the more people talk in court, the more we find out about this whole deal. So,
then you find out really who some people are.
Yeah.
To some NFL news, Chargers running back Najee Harris sustained an eye injury after a fireworks mishap at a July 4th event. Adam Schefter reported on Thursday. Hendrickson said the injury was superficial and that Harris is expected to be ready for the upcoming season. Also said the mishap resulted in injuries to several of the attendees. According to the San Francisco Chronicle, who were citing the police, Harris has signed a one-year deal with the Chargers in March to play a key role in rebuilding the Chargers' rushing output. Been 8 years since the Chargers have had a 1,000-yard rusher. Melvin Gordon did that in 2017. Wow. So Harris wasn't exactly lighting it up for no pun intended.
Wow, AJ.
Did not mean to say that. No pun intended, but wow.
Well, I mean,
I just don't understand some of these guys. I mean, I wasn't there. I can't speculate as to what happened.
If I was a professional athlete, I would try to stay within further than 100 yards away from the nearest explosive in any form or fashion.
I don't know about y'all, but when I was growing up, I was always taught what to do and what not to do with fireworks. Because obviously, as kids, you want to play with your sparklers and all of that, Roman candles, everything like that. So, I mean, you should know, obviously, what to do and what not to do with fireworks. Yes, accidents happen. We get that. But like you said, I don't know. We don't know exactly what went down there, but sounds like it's nothing too significant.
Yeah. So we hope the best. Obviously, if he says he's going to be ready for training camp, good for him. But just got to be careful of that stuff. Again, we weren't there. We don't know exactly what it could have been. Wind just took stuff the wrong way.
Could have been. Could just been a complete accident.
Because I mean, there was the incident with Jason Pierre-Paul about 7 or 8 years ago where he lost 2.5 fingers on one of his hands.
Let me tell this story real quick. I think I've told some of y'all this before. I know I have not told you this.
This is the first for me.
This is back when I was in high school, and we'd always have huge block parties in our cul-de-sac. And we knew a guy, I think my stepmom knew a guy, who had access to professional fireworks. So these were like the fireworks you would get at like baseball stadiums, so the best of the best. And so we're all outside. There's over 100 of us there that are watching this. And I'm in the yard next to ours. Lo and behold, I'm flirting with the girl of all things. So, and all of a sudden, literally just a freak accident, all of a sudden, the last firework that was about to go off, the tube fell over.
And was pointed.
And I pointed right towards our direction. Yep. And I dove out of the way. I pushed her out of the way. And that firework went right behind us and hit the house and exploded. Oh, boy. Yeah.
That was fun.
I remember one time we shot bottle rockets at one of our friends who just had up a piece of cardboard. Not the smartest thing in the world. Well, coming up next, guys, we got a list to react to. The NFL, ESPN put out their top 10 running backs. We'll react and see if we agree. We didn't agree with The Athletic yesterday. We'll see if we'll agree with ESPN today.
What really matters during the ball game, we're at that point in the season where some are just beginning, some have already ended, and others are at that point where it's either win or go home. Depending on what your perspective is, it changes everything, doesn't it? In 2 Corinthians 4 and verse 18, we're reminded we don't look at the things that are seen, but at the things that are unseen. For the things that are seen are temporary, but the things that are unseen are eternal. Keep your focus, keep your perspective on the right things, the things of God, the eternal things. And that message brought to you by your friends at the Leoma Church of Christ.
The storm doesn't ask. It takes. It tests. It pushes everything to its limit. Some things are built different. Some things are built to last. Tested by the elements, proven by time, engineered for whatever comes next. Summertown Metals. Strength in every storm. Building dreams that last.
A moment in real estate with my dad, Jeff Hood.
You know, I get asked a lot,
about what the market's going to do, how's the real estate market. I've been selling real estate for a long time, and nobody has a crystal ball. And you know what? When it's your time to buy or your time to sell, it really doesn't matter what the market's doing. It's your time, and you have to do something maybe. What makes a difference is the agents and the experience that go to work for you. We're Keller Williams Hood Company, located here in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. We can help.
Hood Company, powered by Keller Williams, the #1 name in real estate.
Arctic Air keeps your home or business comfortable. For more than 20 years, we've provided outstanding residential and commercial services through southern Middle Tennessee. Whether you need assistance with your heat, air conditioning, preventive maintenance, or anything in between, trust our reliable team to get the job done. We'll take the time to figure out your specific needs and recommend what we believe is right and best for your situation.
We've been using Arctic Air for over 15 years now. Their service is great, they're here when we need them, and their prices are competitive. They take the worry out of the heat and air so I don't have to.
Arctic Air. When you need us, we'll be there.
There are now more ways to save at Quick Mart. Become a Quick Club member and easily earn rewards on qualifying purchases at Quick Mart convenience stores using the Quick Club app, available on the Apple App Store and Google Play. To save on fuel for work, use the Fuel Rewards Pro app to earn 5 cents a gallon on work fill-ups and redeem the savings for yourself. To get started, visit fuelrewards.com/pro or download the app in the Apple App Store and Google Play.
Going the distance for local sports. This is X Sports Today.
Welcome back to X Sports Today. AJ Good with Taylor Plott, Hayden Burks, and Michael Marks. Guys, we got a list here from ESPN. Top 10 running backs in the league. Let me give you some of the guys on the outside looking in. Now, this is graded by media members, scouts, and current NFL employees, coaches, all the stuff. So it's not just media opinion, it's their opinion as well. You got James Conner from the Cardinals saying he's just a load to bring down, which he is. He's a giant human being. Breece Hall from the Jets. Devon A-Chain from the Dolphins. Aaron Jones Sr. from the Vikings. And Bucky Irving from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So some pretty good list.
I would say those 5 guys on the outside looking in are all very, very much top 10 caliber, so I'm not too mad at those.
Coming in at number 10, a very familiar name for those of us around this part, Alvin Kamara. Was ranked 7th last year and comes in at number 10 this year.
He's just had injury problems. Right? These last few years, he's kind of been injury prone, but then again, once he's on the field, he's
get that dude the ball in space and just watch him work. He's definitely in that top 10.
Even though he's getting up in age, he's still very, very good. But yeah, like what they were saying, he just needs to stay healthy.
Kamara eclipsed 600 rushing yards, 400 receiving yards in all 8 seasons so far. He's tied for the most such seasons, only with Marshall Faulk. Pretty good.
That's a pretty good list.
And despite missing the final 3 games, he accounted for 26% of the Saints' offensive yards last year. Coming in at number 9, he was ranked as high as 5th last year. Joe Mixon from the Houston Texans comes in at number 9.
Yeah, he had a really, really good last season running the ball. He was always kind of that, 3rd or 4th guy you might throw in like your flex for fantasy when he was with Cincinnati. But he really got that resurgence with Houston, playing with a young quarterback again, and C.J. Stroud had a really good year. Put over 1,300 scrimmage yards up. I mean, just a great year for Joe Mixon.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that he's definitely one of those that is just a consistently good, really good running back, and I think that the system that he has down there with Houston. I think he has a good rapport with C.J. Stroud, and I really think that that's a good fit for him and should continue to be really good.
He's the NFL's only player with at least 1,300 scrimmage yards and 9 touchdowns in the past 4 seasons. His 94.6 scrimmage yards per game last year trails only Arian Foster and DeAndre Hopkins in Texans history. Arian Foster, would have been great, but he thinks he's Jesus, except he can't hold on to the dang football, which is why his career ended. Anyways, not going to go on a rant about that loser right now. James Cook coming in at number 8 from the Buffalo Bills was ranked 4th last year. The 25-year-old playing up north for Buffalo.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I mean, he didn't have the greatest season last year, but still, young running back. Obviously, we know Buffalo's probably going to be at the top there. Them and Kansas City going to be battling once again. Cincinnati up there as well. But James Cook, one of those young guys that Buffalo could probably build from here down the stretch, hopefully.
Yeah, and this is my favorite guy for fantasy football. He gets a lot of touchdowns. He's not going to put up a ton of yards, and if you play in a PPR league, he'll get 4 or 5 catches a game. So, love that. His numbers, yardage-wise, aren't as sexy, but he gets in the end zone, and he's got Josh Allen throwing him the ball. So
the thing I'm curious about this year is it feels like the receiving core with Josh Allen this year is, I don't want to say like extremely questionable, but you do wonder how maybe things will work out.
It's probably the least talented since Josh Allen's been there.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. So, on the flip side, you got James Cook in the backfield, who's obviously really, really good running back, very reliable. You're probably going to end up seeing him get some more touches this year, especially if the wide receiving doesn't really pan out the way that they might want to pan it out. But you have that backup right there. Just hand it to him and let him run.
Averaged 3.1 yards before contact, best in the league last year. 16 touchdowns last year, tied for the Bills franchise record. And we're not going to mention the name the man he's tied with. So do your
He was a
homework.
Good football player.
Yeah,
he was a good football
terrible
player.
human being. If this guy's worse than Arian Foster, you know what we're talking about. Coming in at number 7, Jonathan Taylor from the Colts was ranked 2nd last year. Comes in at 7th this year for Indianapolis.
I feel like he kind of got that bad rap. He got injured 2 or 3 years ago and wasn't able to play. But man, he came back and hit the ground running. Had a really good year, almost 1,500 yards, 11 touchdowns, and he was on the Colts. So it's not like there's a whole lot of help around him. So he was really kind of carrying the load. And it's a guy that's mentioned right here, but it did feel like Adrian Peterson on those early 2010s Vikings team where Christian Ponder was his quarterback, and that was really all you had.
Yeah,
first back since AP to produce 6,000 rushing yards and 50 rushing touchdowns through his first 5 NFL seasons.
I feel like people forget how good he was out of the
It's
game.
It's like he fell off the map a little bit, and then now he's back.
1,400 yards, 11 touchdowns for Taylor last year. That's pretty good.
Numbers.
Coming in number 6 was ranked 3rd last year for the Green Bay Packers. Josh Jacobs comes in at number 6.
He had a resurgence too.
He kind of needed a new look leaving Las Vegas, and I think Green Bay was a perfect spot for him to go. Aaron Jones was making the slide down the division to the Vikings, and Green Bay needed a running back. And when it gets cold in November, December, and you're playing in Lambeau, you need a big guy to hand the ball off to, and Jacobs is that guy.
He is definitely that guy, and he's the resemblance of a Derrick Henry in some aspects, and so
he's not as big, but the way he moves and stuff like that is very comparative.
The way he moves and the way that he will knock you on the ground, and I do think that is exactly what Green Bay needs, because, like what Michael said, it gets really cold up there in Green Bay, and you just let him go, and he's just going to run through people.
Well, I mean, he didn't have a very long career, but Eddie Lacy, when he had his time in Green Bay, was a very good running back.
Before he got
before he found Popeye's biscuits and stuff.
It's not just Zion, ladies and gentlemen. Jacobs is the lone NFL player to eclipse 1,000 scrimmage yards and 5 touchdowns in each year since 2019. He's one of 4 Packer players in history to produce 1,500 scrimmage yards and 15 rushing touchdowns, joining Aaron Jones, Ahman Green, and the Hall of Famer Jim Taylor.
That's a good list to be a part of.
Yeah. Coming in at number 5 was ranked 3rd last year, Christian McCaffrey.
McCaffrey.
I was listening to something.
Talk about
49ers.
talk about a fantasy. Just you want to have him every single year. If he stays healthy,
that's the key.
That's the key, and I hope he does because he is great to watch, and that's something that the 49ers they really, really need for him to just stay healthy.
Again, with that offense being as good as it is, having him as a Swiss Army knife, I mean, he can, because he's kind of, I would say, a much better version of James Cook because he's still going to put up all those touchdowns, but he'll get you 140 yards on the ground and, maybe 60 receiving yards. He's a very versatile piece, and again, if he can stay healthy, I mean, I think we'll be looking at another San Francisco push in the playoffs.
The reason why the Niners weren't good last year.
Yep.
When you kind of build, you pay him the money and you build your offense around that guy.
And then he gets hurt.
He's not there.
Yeah, and the other thing would be, you have that happen last year where Brock Purdy lost a really good just check valve, basically. And so you have his aspect. I feel like that honestly makes Brock Purdy better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Coming in number 4 is ranked 6th last year, Bijan Robinson from the Atlanta Falcons. So he rose up in the rankings here a little bit.
I think he's just going to have another big season with Atlanta, too. They got Michael Penix taking over the QB role. I think he'll be really good with them, but also having Robinson in the backfield, that's going to be big. And like I said, there's only nowhere but to go up, and I think Atlanta, I don't know if they're the favorites. Like I said, I don't know the odds to win the division, but I'd say having him, if he has a good season, they could probably win that division easily.
Yeah, I agree. I think that this is a year that if Penix can stay healthy, Bijan can stay healthy, I feel like they have finally a good group of players on both sides of the ball that I think that if Atlanta has a chance to win that division and actually make somewhat of a push in the playoffs, maybe I think it's this year.
Yeah, and Bijan was a guy that had very, very high expectations coming into the league. Had a great last year at Texas in 2023 or 2022, pardon. And then, I mean, he had a great start to his career. And again, staying healthy, putting up yards. I mean, it's looking good for Atlanta. They've got the quarterback. Yeah. They've got him now at running back. They've got a couple of young pieces like Drake London and Kyle Pitts. If they can put it all together, but this is kind of the key to unlocking that door for Atlanta is Bijan.
1,456 yards, 14 touchdowns on 304 carries. His 365 touches, ranked 2nd in the league last year.
Almost 5 yards a carry, too. Yeah. That's good.
Coming in number 3, Jahmyr Gibbs from the Lions was ranked 8th last year.
Oh, that's
another guy that can just go from. Of course, you look at the overall aspect of the offense for Detroit. I mean, if you got to be in love if you're Jared Goff with your offense right now because you got multiple options from tight end to wide receiver, and then you got Gibbs in the backfield as your running back, and he can just. If he can break away and get to that second level, you better watch out because he's going for at least 40 yards.
I agree. I think Detroit, their whole offensive, just everything about them is. I never got to watch, obviously, the Detroit Lions teams of days old, but this one, honestly, it looks like it's some of the best players that they've ever had on a team, and be able to have him in the backfield, that just opens up everything for Goff. I mean, you can let the wide receivers go and be able to throw the ball down the field because you got a guy in the backfield just hand the ball off to.
Right.
Yeah, and again, I think he's half of the best running back tandem in the NFL with him and David Montgomery, kind of a power and speed kind of guy. I think 3's a bit high. He is a great running back, but I just feel like with him having to kind of share his touches in the backfield, I feel like that's a little high. But if he's going to be that number one guy and get, say, 75-80% of the touches, I do think he's a top 5 running back in the NFL, no doubt.
6.4 yards per touch last year was the highest mark by any player with 250 touches in the season over the past decade.
Wow.
Pretty good. Derrick Henry comes in at number 2, was ranked 9th last year.
Yeah, kind of had an off season, but then again, that's just because of he was in Tennessee, had like a terrible offensive line where he couldn't do anything. Had some injury hiccups here and there, but ever since he got to Baltimore, Baltimore looked like that team to beat. They had a little struggle. Henry kind of had a cold spell, but then again, once he cranked it up, he was nearly unstoppable for the Ravens. So then again, he's kind of right back to where he belongs during his prime in Tennessee, and it looks like he's still in his prime at I think he's 32 years old?
31.
31. So I mean he's still got it.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of the early 2000s Ravens with Jamal Lewis having that over 2,000 yard season. But I mean, it's like he's found his second year with Baltimore. They've always been a heavy running offense, but they've never really had, it feels like that big kind of running back. You know, they had Gus Edwards a couple years ago, J.K. Dobbins, Justin Forsett, guys like that. But now giving them a real, superstar Hall of Fame caliber type of guy like Henry. I mean, that's why we saw the Baltimore Ravens offense take such a jump, at least with being able to run the ball in tough situations this past year.
And I think that's the piece that they really needed. I mean, everybody hounds Lamar Jackson on he can't win the big games, can't do that. Well, you look at some of the teams that he had, they never really had that running back that you can just be like, here you go. Right. The running aspect of their offense kind of ended up being Lamar Jackson. Yeah, right. And I feel like having Henry in the backfield not only helps him relieve that, I have to run the ball now, I can hand hit off to him, but now the defense has to worry about him and Lamar on top of their receivers.
Yeah. His 3,634 yards after contact since 2020 is 945 more than the second-ranked player, which is Jacobs, who was already on this list. His 5.9 yards per rush last season represented the highest mark by a player with 250 carries in a year since AP did it in 2012. His 13 career games with 150 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns ties Jim Brown for the most in NFL history.
Wow. Those are some good names to be on a list with. I just remember seeing something on Twitter or Instagram a couple years ago after the season. It was talking about NFL leaders in rushing yards, and it was number 1 Derrick Henry, number 2 Christian McCaffrey, number 3 Derrick Henry after contact, and then started going through the other guys. Yeah. I mean, he gets hit at the line, and you're not taking him down with an arm tackle.
And he's number 2 on this list. Number 1 is Saquon Barkley, was ranked 4th last year, comes in at number 1 this year.
Yeah, I mean,
he just proved the Giants wrong. I mean, he did. Just made them look dumb for letting him go like they did.
I really do wonder if it was just whether their offensive scheme or coaching or something, but we all of us here knew that Saquon was a fantastic running back. He just needed a change of scenery, and it just has allowed him to explode.
Yeah. Not to prove he was one of the best, the best.
Yeah. And again, his production got low there with the Giants at the end of that time, and they kind of shipped him off. I mean, he didn't have a line in front of him. He didn't have an offense around him, so it was him. And again, he was a really good player for a couple of those years in New York, but you get him to Philly. You give him the best offensive line in the NFL. You give him a Super Bowl winning quarterback now in Jalen Hurts, who's a very good quarterback. You give him a team with some receivers around him so they're not locked in on him, and you get a 2,000-yard season just like that. In 2025, a year where it feels like running the ball was kind of a thing of the past.
Yeah, and we'll go back to the same thing I mentioned with Baltimore. It's like now you have an aspect in Philadelphia where not only do you have a running quarterback and have really good wide receivers, you got to worry about that guy in the backfield. So it just I just can't imagine defenses trying to go against Philly and just being able to shut them down because you're too good and you got too many weapons. Yeah, we saw in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. His 2,504 rushing yards and 7 scrimmage touchdowns of 60-plus yards are the most in any season in NFL history. His speed was constantly on display, reaching at least 20 miles per hour on 9 touchdown runs. Per Next Gen Stats, no other player had more than 2.
Yeah. I like that list. I think that's a good list. And I honestly agree with a lot of it.
Yeah, I would say I was expecting
Minnesota, Wisconsin above the third Saturday in October.
Yeah.
What a joke.
Well, I saw some other people bashing. I saw some other media people bashing that list, and they were mad at Army Navy being top 5, and I just kind of discredit anything those people said after that.
That's one everybody's got circled. They always watch it.
I think 32 through 26 could have been higher than a lot of the top 25 on that list. Well, coming up next, guys, we're going to be talking underrated stats to close out the show. That will be when we return.
At C&B Linen, fast, friendly, and reliable service is our promise to you. Because you're not just a customer, you're family. From multi-use linen to branded floor coverings and a complete range of cleaning supplies, C&B Linen is here to make sure you have everything you need. From our high-quality products to our fast, friendly, and reliable service, you'll experience the difference with C&B Linen. Because you're not just a client, you're part of our family. You'll be winning with C&B Linen.
Efficiency, reliability, accuracy. Move forward with your real estate sale or purchase with Title and Escrow of Lawrence County, the most experienced closing team around. Working with clients locally and throughout the state, We offer a wide range of services, including the expertise of an on-staff attorney, backed by our more than 49 years experience in titles and closings. We get the job done on time at a fair price and ensure every last detail is correct. Our goal is to give you peace of mind. When you work with us, you work with people who live where you do. We understand the importance of the real estate community and strive to build strong relationships with all parties involved in the process. Whether you're buying a home, selling a business, acquiring land, or anything in between, you're in good hands with Title and Escrow of Lawrence County.
Put the most experienced closing team on your side. Contact Title and Escrow of Lawrence County today.
Hey guys, I'm Kyle Hammock, General Manager here at Heritage Automotive, your Chevy GMC dealer in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. I'm from Marshall County, Tennessee, where I went to Cornersville High School. I attended Cumberland University. After Cumberland, I went into the United States Marine Corps to serve the country. After that, I went right back into the car business. I'm very familiar with the car business. I have been around the car business pretty much my entire life. And my commitment to you is to ensure the most competitive new and used vehicle pricing on the market, as well as the best service around. Well, we'll treat you like family here at Heritage Automotive in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee.
Going the distance for local sports. This is X Sports Today.
Welcome back to X Sports Today. AJ Good, joined by Taylor Plott, Hayden Burks, and Michael Marks. Guys, we were talking about some stats yesterday during our show, and just kind of gave me some inspiration, I guess would be the word. What kind of underrated stats, the ones people don't really think about, do you think have the most impact on a game? Now, you can pick any sport you want. You can do multiple ones. You can even go with an overrated stat if you want to. But
I'm mostly, of course, basketball. That's my sport, so that's the one I'm going to go to. But the plus minus, I know I was talking to y'all about that yesterday. The plus minus tells you so much about what the player's done on the court. I mean, obviously, winning and losing does affect it for sure. But you got to look at the overall play of certain players. I mean, if you're turning the ball over, the productivity, minutes per. I mean, it just takes everything in consideration. Just like, if you're a negative 6, that means you didn't play bad, but you didn't really contribute. But I mean, like I saw Shea, there was one this year where he had like a plus 31. Yeah, that's incredible. Like if you're over,
that means when you're out there, your team 20, is 31 points better than the other team.
Exactly.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yes, I mean it's unreal. So like, just then again, I mean, there's certain players out there. I know a lot of people don't like him, but Draymond Green's is just it's unreal because he just always knows how to make the right play. And I mean, that's why they started putting those stats up to tell you. When, like players like Steph Curry or Kevin Durant or, just whoever's out there and showing, okay, when he's not out there, they're not as good, not even close. So that's an underrated stat in my opinion, the plus minus for NBA.
Okay.
I'll let you go.
You want me to go?
Yeah, I'll let you go first.
So,
because I'm going to nerd out over mine, and I feel like I'm just going to let you get yours out of the way.
So it took me a while to really think about this because from a baseball standpoint, I was trying to just stay with baseball because that's my sport. I really like that plus minus though because that really can tell the tale with some stuff. I know it's talked about sometimes, but I feel like people just kind of overlook it because you immediately go to the win-loss record. That's the run differential. Let me tell you, in the National League East, the run differential, the Philadelphia Phillies right now are 54-39. Their run differential is plus 65.
Okay.
New York Mets 53-41. Their run differential is plus 39. So you're like, okay, that sounds pretty right. The Miami Marlins are 42-50. They are 2 games above the Braves right now. Their run differential is minus 68. Minus 68. Wow. The Braves. The Braves again 2 games under the Marlins right now, plus 1. So my thing with that stat is yes, when you see the really good teams, you're going to see a positive run differential. That's kind of a given. But when you have teams like the Marlins, who are 42-50, have a run differential of -68, and then you have the Braves, who are 40-52 with a run differential of +1. Yeah. What the heck's going on there? You want to look into it deeper. Right. And so that's why a lot of people from a Braves perspective, especially with the organization and stuff, are saying give this team a chance because we are still scoring runs. We still have a positive run differential. Something there is working, but something else isn't. So maybe if you get that fixed, you can explode from that. But, I mean, I really do think – I never really thought about that until this year just because – the Braves being the way that they are, and all of a sudden realizing that the Marlins have that horrible stat right there. Right. I mean, I really do think that that's one that might be a little bit underrated that you just don't really look at that much.
So my first one, I have a couple.
Okay.
I like WRC plus in baseball. So pretty much it's a stat where if you have a 100 WRC plus, that is league average, and it's pretty much weighted runs created. If you're below. If you're below 100, you're below average. If you're above 100, you're above average. Last year, I think Bryce Harper was 170 or something like that. And it takes into account everything. It takes into account the fact that, guys for the Rockies get to play in Coors Field 81 games a year. Right. Guys that play in Kansas City or Detroit aren't going to hit as many home runs. So it kind of takes stuff like that into effect. My second favorite one is ISO. So pretty much what it is it weighs your slugging percentage minus singles and home runs. It pretty much, or not home runs, just singles. So it pretty much weighs the value of your extra base hits. Like if a guy is hitting a bunch of doubles or hitting a bunch of home runs, it's going to look a lot different than just your slugging if you throw a guy that's got a lot of singles and stuff like that. And then an underrated one, BABIP. It's BABIP, and it's batting average on balls put in play. I found this is the one that I found by mistake last night, and it kind of tells the luck of a player. If a guy's got a really good BABIP, everything he's hitting's going into play. Not so much if you got a low batting average. Good one's around 300. So, and Shohei Ohtani, I believe, is the league, and he's around 305, 303, something like that. So, those are my out there stats. So,
well, there's so many stats. I really think baseball just has the most stats you could probably find. I mean, I imagine there's a stat for someone that says, all right, well, what's his on-base percentage on Tuesdays when he ends up being, walked 3 times or just some
the
bizarre,
wind's blowing
in from left. They had, oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember what it was. I was watching I think it was an ESPN broadcast, and I do not remember what stat that they pulled out, but it was something bizarre where it was like, he's the guy that's leading the league in triples, but it's only triples when his, it was like on Wednesdays or Tuesdays. Went to a day of the week. I'm like, how do you find this?
Well, one of my favorite random out there stats is that Javi Baez has the most extra inning grand slams in Major League history.
Love that.
And he's done them. And he's done them all from the 15th inning and beyond.
Oh my gosh! Insane.
Yeah, let's say baseball really does have. I'm on Baseball Reference right now, and runs from positional scarcity, runs from fielding. There's runs from replacement level. Like, what the heck does any of that mean or matter? But it's there.
It's there.
They did.
Gotta love baseball.
They're hiring a lot of people just to come up with a lot of just hot garbage at times. Some of it's good, but the rest of it can be some hot garbage. Well, my first one does come from baseball. Mine is hitting with runners in scoring position.
Gotta be.
And doing it as a team. If you look at the World Series champions, especially over the last 30 years, all of them have been in the top 10 of hitting and runners in scoring position. And I found out in one of the examples, and it just kind of caught my curiosity. I'm like, okay, what did there's several things that the Braves struggled with over the years, even though I'm a Cubs fan, but the Braves dominated a lot of my childhood. What kept them from winning a World Series? And every year that they won the World Series, they were in the top 10 hitting and runners in scoring position. The years that they didn't, they were outside of the top 10. So yes, they had great players and good big-time hitters, but they didn't have clutch hitters. For me, that's kind of like that clutch gene. I mean, I can.
You said that's for the Braves team.
Yeah, for the.
I doubt they're in the top 10 this year.
Probably not. I can't tell you how many. Again, I've said this before. I can't tell you how many times I've seen the bases loaded or a man at third and they get nothing.
The worst is third. I'm like, just get him in.
He's 90 feet away.
Gosh,
the Cubs in 2016, I think, hit around like 280 with runners in scoring position. We've had some. I think the best ever was the Red Sox when they won it all in 04. They hit like 335. With
they were fantastic with all that.
Right now, the Dodgers are first in the majors, 291.
Yeah, that's
You
get guys
Atlanta is 23rd. They're 240. Or that's not batting average. That is batting average.
Yeah,
230, 242. They just don't have as many appearances, so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay. So that it's a lot to me. I think on base percentage at times can be overrated. I know that's what the analytics will tell you. You need guys on base.
Don't tell Billy Bean that.
But the biggest thing for me is, okay, yes, you need to get guys on base, but you need to have guys that can drive them in.
Yeah.
And people would say RBIs are overrated. No, they're not.
No, they're not.
RBIs are, what's the key word in the first word in RBI?
Runs.
Yep.
Runs.
And you need that to
batted in. That means somebody is actually putting the ball in play and a run is crossing the plate.
Yes.
It's not an over. I understand where a guy can have 120 RBIs, but if 50 of them come off sacrifice flies and ground balls, in a way I can understand that.
But that's still helping the team.
That's still scoring runs.
Yeah. I
Still
really
counts as an RBI.
Yeah.
Productive at bats.
Yeah, and I would even get going off when you talk about, you felt like the on base percentage. You kind of look at more things recently. There's a lot more that you're just showing OPS, on base plus slugging, and I really think that probably does show you a little more with what you're talking about, where you're getting runs, you're getting on base, you're probably getting runs across because you're hitting the baseball.
Yeah, well, I would love to see a stat productive at bat percentage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, are you
like
getting
a quality at bats?
Yeah, quality bats. Are you getting base hits? Are you getting on base? Are you reaching via an air? Are you walking? Are you finding a way on? And are you did a runner move because of a batted ball in play? Did a runner score? I would love that. Would be a good stat to have, productive at bat stats. So football wise, I'm going to go to a football stat here, guys. I'm going to go third down offense and third down defense.
Yes.
Those are very important.
It's your offense's ability to stay on the field and your defense's ability to get off the field. And not enough. I know you see it a lot in football. You see it a lot, like while you're watching the game, and it will pop up this is what they are. They're 3 for 11 on third down. You're looking, they're down by a touchdown, and to a team that they probably shouldn't be losing to. Well, that's 8 times they have to get off the field.
Yeah.
I mean, they might go for it on fourth down every now and again, but that's 8 drives that were killed right there because you couldn't keep your drive alive. So,
I completely agree. And one of the things, I've actually had that conversation with my brother many, many times, because obviously Nick Saban, probably the greatest of all-time coach ever. But for some reason on third downs, his defense, the way that he likes to do defense, remember any of that? He would press.
Yeah.
He would play the press D.
Yeah.
What happens with some of that sometimes,
you get
especially
sacks,
when you
you
get a
get
quick slant or something like that, you're going to have wide open guys. And for some reason, he just liked playing press man on third down. And I don't know what the percentages are, but I can tell you so many times Bama could not get off the field on third down, especially third and short, because they would exploit that.
And, talking about kind of what both of y'all are talking about, the Vandy versus Alabama game last year. Vanderbilt was 12 of 18. And I'm glad that I'll be able to look this up and find it. But I remembered how much success Vanderbilt was having on third and fourth downs. They went 12 for 18 in that game, and Alabama went 3 for 7.
Yep. That's huge.
Yeah.
And imagine that Vanderbilt didn't get 2 of those 18, and Alabama got 2 of those 18. That's a 28-point flip almost.
I mean, it's a big stat. I mean, it's your ability to stay on, it's your ability to get off the field. So
it helps it helps the defense, but it also hurts the offense if you can't get on the field to score.
And sometimes, I know that everyone says baseball is a game of situations. For me personally, football's right
football
up there.
big time.
Yes.
It really is. There's a lot of situations in football. That's the biggest one for me. But I think people start to overlook it because the guys are going for it way more on fourth down now. Well, if you just take care of third down, you don't have to worry about fourth down.
I would say if it's third and 10 and they get 9 and they get it on 4th and 1 and you're mad, don't give up 9 on 3rd and 10.
Yeah. Well, you talk about with football is kind of right up there. I mean, really, if you look at a baseball perspective, All right, if you have the bases loaded, yes, you have 3 guys on. But guess who you're really worried about at that point? The guy at the plate.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's your worry at that point.
Right.
Flip to football, you're on 3rd and 5. Well, on defense, who do you have to worry about? You already have to worry about probably 4, 5, or 6 guys, including the quarterback sometimes, instead of just one person.
Yep.
A lot that goes into it. And in basketball, offensive rebounds.
Yeah, huge.
Those are killers.
It's I would love to see a stat on rebounded balls or something like, how, like in hockey, they talk about your forecheck, which is keeping the puck in your offensive zone. For basketball, it's offensive rebounding, which is like percentage of shots that you rebounded, percentage of your own shots rebounded by yourself. Because it's, if you look at it from the defense's perspective, but you're not giving them up, which means that's more possessions for you on the other end. But if you're getting a ton of offensive rebounds, that's more possessions for you on the other end. So for me, I can't tell you how many games, especially around here, where I've looked down. How many times did Lawrence County, God bless their hearts, girls and boys, keep teams in games or lost games because the other teams just crushed them on the offensive glass?
I could name a game off the top of my head. Tullahoma, Murfreesboro Central. The first time they played them at Murfreesboro Central. They were out. They were taller than Lawrence County, but then again, those offense. They're just killers, especially for us, because we're thinking, okay, there's an offensive rebound. It's just they're killers. They are,
because it gives you more shots, and if you got more shots, typically you're going to make more. But I agree with you. I think just rebounds in general, most of those kind of big man stats are super important because watching any Tennessee game this year, I can tell you if Tennessee was dominating the glass, they were dominating the game. If they were getting pushed around, they were getting pushed around on the scoreboard, and the same way for the Lady Vols. But again, paint points, that one's huge. If you're able to score in the paint and the other team's not, it puts you at
second chance points are huge.
And again, and that's why scoring in the paint is such a big deal, because little tip in, tap in, stuff like that counts in that.
The best team ever got the cover, 2010 West Virginia, went to the Final Four, and they were the best offensive rebounding and the best team in the country on second chance points. And I can't tell you how many games I remember it. I was there. It was in Philly playing Villanova, where the 76ers play. And the game went in the double overtime, and they maybe shot like 22% from the field, but they crushed it on the offensive glass. I want to say they had over 30 offensive rebounds and kept them in. Eventually won in double overtime, and that's how they killed everybody in the NCAA tournament. They just literally like 4 guys, 4 of the 5 crashed the glass on every shot. And it wore Kentucky down with John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins and Eric Bledsoe, because they weren't used to guys going that hard for the ball.
And that 1-3-1 defense killed them. Yeah, Joe Mazzulla following DeMarcus Cousins around like a lost puppy, and it worked.
Yeah, and DeMarcus, they talked about it on their podcast, and that's one of my favorite clips. Joe Mazzulla. I'm like, and you didn't do anything.
And you didn't do anything.
I watched that game, bro. Don't act like you were some. Now you're slapping people in the Philippines. Don't tell me you're some great player. Come on now.
Slapping people in the Philippines.
Any other stats before we sign off here for the week?
Well, I will say this one. I think we saw it in the NBA Finals. Look at bench points. Bench points were huge in the NBA Finals this year. That one popped in my head when we got talking about offense rebounds. And like I said, that's that one, the bench points, if you look at kind of every NBA Finals or series and you look at one stat, that was the stat this year that stood out for sure.
And I feel like one that kind of that I've kind of gravitated to recently, starting early last college football season, was I remember watching that first game, the Florida State-Georgia Tech game, and they talked about how short all of Florida State's passing attempts were. I mean, if your average pass attempts 3 or 4 yards, you're not getting much done on the offensive end. Now, when you're throwing it 7 or 8, 9 yards every play, things change. So I really like that one.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Like
yards an attempt,
yards per attempt, or yards per completion. I think
because even though Nico wasn't great last year, it was 8.3 yards an attempt, 12 yards a catch.
Putting cartoon characters on his pajama pants. have fun in LA in front of 20,000 in the best stadium.
They won't.
Actually, a lot of people don't like the Rose Bowl. I found that out recently.
A lot of people don't like it because of how old it is, and it's apparently not in the best of shape.
I want to go when it's like UCLA and Oregon State, and I've got like a whole road.
Oh yes,
on a beautiful SoCal day. You know, I've got basically like a whole church group running concession stand.
You got Northwestern and UCLA. You know,
love that game. Well, that will do it here for the week. So for Taylor Plott, Hayden Burks, Michael Marks, I'm AJ Good. We'll see you guys on Monday.
Going the distance for local sports. This is X Sports Today.